Low, pulsating bass, dark, investigative rhythm, high tension. Part 2, the anatomy of the sludge, why your sink is a toxic waste site. Before we name names and start throwing those expensive tubes in the trash, we need to talk about the science of the suck. You've been conditioned to think that if a toothpaste foams up and makes your mouth tingle, it's working. That's the first lie. The second lie is that the ingredients inside are there for your health. Most are there for shelf life, texture, and visual appeal. Let's perform a forensic audit on that white paste you're smearing on your bristles every morning. 1. Sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, the industrial foam trap. SLS is a detergent. It's the same chemical used in shampoos, industrial degreasers, and floor cleaners. Why is it in your mouth? Because you've been trained by 70 years of marketing to associate foam with cleanliness. The scam: foam doesn't clean your teeth. The mechanical action of the brush does. The foam is just there to give you a sensory experience. The damage: SLS is a harsh surfactant that breaks down the protective lipid barrier of your oral mucosa. This makes your mouth vulnerable to irritants. The data: a study in the Journal of Clinical Periodontology found that people with recurring mouth ulcers, AFTAs, who switched to an SLS-free paste saw a 64% reduction in how often those ulcers appeared. The orange juice effect. Ever wondered why orange juice tastes like battery acid after brushing? That's SLS suppressing your sweet taste receptors and destroying the phospholipids that usually inhibit your bitter receptors. It's literally temporarily chemically altering your tongue. 2. Triclosan, the banned antibacterial. Triclosan is a broad-spectrum antibacterial. In 2016, the FDA finally grew a spine and banned it in hand soaps because it wasn't more effective than plain soap and it was messing with animal hormones. But somehow it's still allowed in toothpaste under the excuse that it prevents gingivitis. The risk: it's a confirmed endocrine disruptor. Studies show it interferes with thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, which regulate your metabolism. Resistance: chronic use selects for superbugs, contributing to global antibiotic resistance. The chloroform connection. When triclosan in your toothpaste meets the chlorinated tap water in your sink, it can react to form chloroform, a known carcinogen. You are literally creating a chemical weapon in your mouth twice a day. 3. Microplastics, glistening garbage. Look at your whitening crystals or freshness beads. In many commercial brands, those are polyethylene. Plastic. The cycle. These microplastics don't dissolve. You spit them out, they go down the drain, bypass Mexican water treatment plants, enter the rivers, and end up in the fish you're eating at your weekend marisco spot. Body accumulation. Because you swallow about 20 to 30% of your paste, these particles enter your bloodstream. They've been found in human livers, lungs, and even the placenta. The gum trap. Dentists are now reporting finding these plastic beads embedded deep in the gum tissue of patients during routine cleanings, causing permanent chronic inflammation. 4. Titanium dioxide, TiO2, the white paint lie. This is a white pigment used in house paint and plastics. Its only job in toothpaste is to make the paste look brilliant white instead of an unappealing gray. The warning. In 2021, the European Chemicals Agency, ECHA, classified it as a suspected carcinogen when inhaled. France banned it in food in 2020. The EU banned it in food in 2022. Absorption. Nanoparticles of titanium dioxide can cross biological barriers. They accumulate in your liver, spleen, and kidneys. Why are you risking organ accumulation for a color that doesn't even stay on your teeth? 5. Excessive abrasives, sandpaper for your enamel. Toothpaste brands compete on advanced whitening. They achieve this using high RDA, relative dentin abrasion. The scale, 0 to 70, low, safe, 70 to 100, medium, 100 to 150, high, harmful over time, 150 to 250, dangerous, abrasive. The reality, many premium whitening pastes have an RDA of 130 to 200. They whiten your teeth by literally sanding off the top layer of your enamel. The trap, your enamel never grows back. Once you sand it away, your teeth become more sensitive, and the yellowish dentin underneath starts to show through, making your teeth look more yellow in the long run. You're paying 100 pesos to destroy your teeth's natural shield. 6. The fluoride paradox, a Mexican crisis. This is where it gets controversial. Fluoride prevents cavities, we know this, but there is a razor-thin line between prevention and toxicity, especially in Mexico. Systemic overload. Since 1991, salt in Mexico is fluoridated by law. Much of our bottled water and tap water is also naturally or artificially fluoridated. The result? Dental fluorosis. When kids swallow fluoride-heavy paste, which they do because it tastes like candy, they exceed safe limits. The data. A 2017 study found that 42% of Mexican schoolchildren have fluorosis. That means nearly half of our kids have permanent white or brown stains and porous, fragile enamel because they were overexposed to fluoride during development. 7. Artificial dyes and kid flavors. Strawberry Blast and Bubblegum Fun aren't for health, they're for predatory marketing. The problem, these pastes use Red 40 and Blue 1, synthetic dyes linked in the famous Southampton study to hyperactivity in children. Ingestion. By making toothpaste taste like a dessert, companies encourage children to swallow it. This increases their exposure to every single toxic ingredient we just discussed. They aren't learning hygiene, they're being trained to ingest industrial chemicals. The industry is moving 11 billion pesos a year in Mexico by selling you these ingredients disguised as protection. You aren't buying health, you're buying a subscription to future dental problems. Now that you know the weapons, let's talk about the specific brands that are using them against you. Part 3. The shit list versus the safe harbor. Which tube is lying to you? All right, enough with the chemistry lesson. You're in the aisle at Chedraui, Walmart, or your local Farmacia Guadalajara. You're staring at a wall of boxes promising Hollywood smiles and total protection. Most of them are lying to your face. Let's name the specific brands that, based on their labels and independent lab data, should be evicted from your bathroom immediately. The Rogues Gallery, 5 brands to dump now. Brand number 5, Close-Up, the Deep Action Red Gel. Close-Up is the king of the 90s attraction marketing. It sells the promise of a fresh breath kiss. The reality, you're paying about 45 to 55 pesos for a tube of red-dye detergent. It contains sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, in such high concentrations that it's usually the second or third ingredient listed. If you have mystery canker sores, this red sludge is the prime suspect. Those whitening crystals? Often just microplastics or harsh abrasives that give you a 30-minute cooling sensation while stripping your oral lining. It's perfume for your mouth, nothing more. Brand number 4. Colgate Total, the triclosan legacy. This is the workhorse of the industry. It's everywhere in Mexico, costing 65 to 80 pesos. The scandal. Until 2019, this was the primary carrier of triclosan. While Colgate announced they were reformulating to remove it, Mexican regulations are notoriously slow. Some total versions sitting on dusty shelves or produced in certain facilities can still contain it. Check the ingredients. If you see triclosan or ergosan, you are brushing with a hormone disruptor that the FDA already kicked out of hand soaps. Why pay a premium for a 12-hour shield that might be nuking your thyroid? Brand number 3, Crest 3D White, the enamel sandpaper. Crest 3D White promises teeth 2 shades whiter in 3 days. The cost, about 85 to 100 pesos. The secret, it achieves that whiteness through sheer brute force. Independent analysis puts the RDA, abrasivity, at 130 to 160. That is effectively sandpaper. Using this daily is like using a Brillo pad on a glass table. After 6 months, your teeth look whiter because you've ground off the stained enamel, but now they're translucent, sensitive, and 1 cup of hot coffee away from an agonizing nerve shock. It's a vanity product that causes structural failure. Brand number 2, Sensodyne Whitening, the Great Contradiction. This is the most expensive standard paste on the shelf, often hitting 95 to 110 pesos. The scam. Sensodyne is for sensitive teeth. Sensitivity is usually caused by exposed dentin from worn-down enamel. So what does Sensodyne do? They add potassium nitrate to numb your nerves so you don't feel the pain. But in the whitening version, they also add high abrasion silica to scrub the teeth. They are literally numbing the pain with one hand and causing the damage with the other. It's like taking an aspirin while someone hits your thumb with a hammer. If you have sensitive teeth, the whitening version is a scam. Brand number 1, character-branded Kids Paste, Colgate Kids, Oral-B Kids. These get the top spot because they are predatory. They use Spider-Man, Elsa, or Avengers to trick parents into buying chemical trash for 50 to 65 pesos. The hazard. These pastes are designed to taste like candy, strawberry, bubblegum, grape. This is a trap. It trains kids to swallow the paste instead of spitting it out. In Mexico, where our salt and water are already fluoridated, a kid swallowing tasty strawberry paste is a one-way ticket to fluorosis. It's irreversible. Those permanent brown and white stains on your kid's adult teeth, you can thank the princess paste they swallowed for 3 years. The safe harbor. 3 brands that actually work. Now let's talk about what you should buy. These brands use evidence-based safety profiles. Brand number 3, Colgate Natural Extracts, Charcoal and Ginger, SLS-free version. Wait, a mainstream brand made the good list? Yes, but only this specific line. Why? Colgate's natural extracts, the clear tubes, often ditch the SLS. They use cocamidopropyl betaine, a gentle surfactant derived from coconut. It won't give you that rabid dog foam, but it also won't give you canker sores. At 45 to 55 pesos, it's an affordable, safe transition from the toxic stuff. Just make sure the label specifically says, no SLS. Brand number 2, Sensodyne Pronamel, Original Daily Protection. If you have the budget, 85 to 95 pesos, this is the only big pharma paste I recommend. Why? It has a very low RDA, around 65. It is specifically formulated to be non-abrasive. It's usually SLS-free and focuses on using fluoride to remineralize without the whitening acids or plastic beads. It's boring, it's expensive, and it works. Brand number 1, Tom's of Maine, Hello Oral Care, the Clean Kings. You'll find these at Costco, Mexico, Amazon, or high-end spots like Fresco or the Green Corner for 100 to 120 pesos. The winner. These are the gold standard for a reason. They use xylitol, a natural birch sugar that actually kills the bacteria, S. mutans, that cause cavities. No SLS, no triclosan, no titanium dioxide, no artificial red 40 dyes. They offer fluoride-free versions, which are the only safe choice for children under 3 who haven't learned to spit yet. It's more expensive up front, but it's cheaper than a 10,000 peso dental reconstruction in 10 years. The ultimate budget hack, the DIY paste. If you're done with the 11 billion peso industry entirely, Go to the pantry. Mix 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, naturally antibacterial, with 2 tablespoons of baking soda, a very gentle abrasive with an RDA of only 7. Add 10 drops of peppermint essential oil. Cost: about 10 pesos for a batch that lasts a month. No chemicals, no toxins, no lies. But before you switch, you need to know if the damage is already done. In the final part of this investigation, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot the toothpaste sickness symptoms in your own mouth and your children's teeth. Part 4. The final verdict. How to reclaim your mouth from the 11 billion peso lie. We've named the villains and found the heroes, but here is the cold, hard truth that most dental companies spend millions of pesos to hide. Your mouth is a sponge. You aren't just cleaning your teeth. You are performing a daily chemical experiment on one of the most absorbent membranes in your entire body. The 30% ingestion reality. Think you're just spitting it all out? Research shows that the average adult swallows between 20% and 30% of their toothpaste every single time they brush. For children, that number jumps to nearly 60%. When you use a triple action or total protection paste loaded with sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, triclosan, and titanium dioxide, you aren't just rinsing, you are eating industrial detergents and endocrine disruptors. And it's not just what you swallow. The sublingual mucosa, the tissue under your tongue, is so permeable that doctors use it for rapid entry medication. When you brush for 2 minutes, those toxins bypass your digestive filters and go straight into your bloodstream. The symptom audit. Is your paste sickening you? Before you buy another tube at Chedraui or Farmacia Guadalajara, check yourself for these 3 toothpaste sickness markers. 1. The after cycle, recurring mouth ulcers. If you get those painful white sores inside your cheeks every few months, stop blaming stress or spicy food. It's likely the SLS. By stripping the protective lipid layer of your mouth, SLS leaves your tissue raw and vulnerable to every bacteria that passes by. Switching to an SLS-free paste like Tom's of Maine or Sensodyne Pronamel has been shown to reduce these ulcers by 64%. 2. The fake whiteness sensitivity. Are your teeth suddenly screaming when you drink cold water or a cafecito? Look at your advanced whitening tube. If it has a high RDA, abrasivity score, you aren't whitening your teeth, you're sanding them down. Once that enamel is gone, it never comes back. You are paying 100 pesos to permanently thin your teeth's armor. 3. The Mexican fluorosis crisis. This is the most critical point for parents in Mexico. Since 1991, our salt is fluoridated by law. Our water is often naturally high in fluoride. When you give a toddler strawberry blast paste that they inevitably swallow, you are pushing them over the 0.7 milligrams daily limit. The result? Dental fluorosis. Those permanent, unsightly white or brown splotches on their adult teeth are a sign of systemic overdose. In Mexico, 42% of school children already have this. If your child is under 3, they do not need fluoride paste. Period. The lies on the label, cheat sheet. The next time you're in the toothpaste aisle, ignore the front of the box. The approved by dentists seal is often a paid marketing placement. Turn the box over and look for these red flags. Sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS. If it's in the first 5 ingredients, put it back. It's a floor cleaner, not a health product. Triclosan. If you see this, run. It's an endocrine disruptor that creates chloroform when it touches your tap water. Polyethylene. These are microplastics. They don't clean, they just pollute your body and the ocean. CI 77891, titanium dioxide, a suspected carcinogen used only for whiteness of the paste itself. Your health is worth more than the color of the goop. The 10 peso revolution, the DIY alternative. If you're tired of the 11 billion peso industry games, remember, the brush does 90% of the work. The paste is just a lubricant. The mix: 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and a few drops of peppermint oil. The result? A non-toxic, highly effective cleaner that costs pennies and won't mess with your hormones. Your action plan: audit your bathroom. Right now, go check your tube. If it contains SLS or triclosan, throw it away. The lenteja rule: if you use fluoride paste, use a pea-sized amount, a lenteja. The long strip of paste in commercials is a trick to make you buy more. The kids switch. Switch your children to a fluoride-free, SLS-free brand like Hello or Tom's until they can reliably spit 100% of the time. Spread the word. This information isn't on the news because these companies buy the ads. Share this with one person who struggles with mouth ulcers or has young kids. The industry treats your mouth like a profit center. It's time you started treating it like a gateway to your health. Stop buying the total protection lie and start reading the label. Your enamel and your health depend on it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Which brand are you throwing in the trash today?